Broncos? Welcome back to another episode of Broncos Scoop. I'm your host, Deicy Lemus, a fifth year architecture major here at Cal Poly Pomona and a student assistant of Project Caminos in the Office of Student Success. Thank you for joining us for this new episode of Season 4. On today's episode, I will be giving you the scoop on financial aid at Cal Poly Pomona. But in order to give you the full scoop of all the resources that we have at this campus, I have a very special guest joining us today. Thank you so much for joining us today. Could you please introduce yourself and your role at Cal Poly Pomona?
Yes, so my name is David Jimenez. I am a financial aid counselor, and we are on campus and on virtual. And we're located at the Student Services Building at the Blue Counter.
So let's start easy. Should incoming freshmen and transfer students submit an application, either the FAFSA or DREAM Act application?
Yes, so we encourage all incoming freshmen and transfer students to apply for financial aid. This determines aid eligibility for federal, California state, and institutional aid. What's really important about this is that some scholarships even require for aid applications to be in. So, one of the myths that we get here on campus is that, well, my parents make too much, so I'm not going to qualify for any free money anyways. Why should I waste my time doing these applications? So that's a myth, because not only does the state aid offer like a middle class scholarship, and this upcoming year, the income ceiling is all the way up to $201,000. So even though you might think your parents or you as an individual make too much money, you might still qualify for something. And then it's really important for scholarships. Some of our scholarships don't have any income determination. So it's maybe just based on, your roles at school, your GPA, community service, things like that. But they still require you to have an aid application on file. So you might miss out on some opportunities if you don't submit an application.
Yeah. So there's two applications. There's the FAFSA and the DREAM Act. Can you tell us about each application and how students can figure out which one they should complete?
Yeah, great question. So basically, the federal FAFSA, that's for FAFSA filers, you need to be either a U.S. citizen or an eligible non-citizen. So like a permanent resident. Some students refer to this as like a green card. So if you are a U.S. citizen or a permanent resident or eligible non-resident, you apply for the FAFSA. That is through the studentaid.gov website, which is on the left-hand side. For if you have a DACA social security number, or you don't have a social security number, or your TPS status or U visa, and you qualify as AB 540 status, you can do the California DREAM Act application. And then the website for that is dream.csac.ca.gov, which is on the right-hand side.
Yeah, so what documents or things should students have on hand when applying both applications?
Great question. So basically, financial aid is, you're really being proactive, right? When you're applying for scholarships, financial aid for the upcoming year. Mm-hmm. So basically, what they do now for federal financial aid applications is they ask students, and if you're dependent, parents, to submit income from 2 years ago, right? So like, let's say you're an incoming transfer student or incoming freshman student coming in the fall of 2023. We're asking students to supply their income information from 2021. So it's 2 years prior. Lots of students, misunderstand this, because they'll say, well, I haven't filed my taxes for this year. Well, we're not even asking anything about this year whatsoever. So if you're currently working, your parents are working, we don't ask anything about this current year. We ask about last year, so 2021. What you would want to have also is, if you're dependent, it's not only your income, if you're a FAFSA filer, you need your social security number, things like that. You do need to create an FSA ID using the same website. That's how they know your personal information, right? Like your identity with the Social Security Administration. But besides that, it's pretty easy and it's free. That's the best part about it.
Yeah. So, what is the timeline to apply for both applications, and is there a priority deadline that students should be aware of?
Yeah, so basically you need to do your application every year. So it's an annual application. This is it is open as of October 1st, and then the priority deadline is March 2nd. So this means two different things for both applications. So if you're a FAFSA student, you must file or renew your application if you're a transfer student um, by March 2nd to be eligible to receive the most funding, right, for state aid and institutional aid. So if you miss your priority deadline for as a FAFSA filer, you might still qualify for some financial aid, but you didn't maximize all your aid available. For DREAM students, it's a little different. You must renew or file your initial by March 2nd to be eligible for any aid other than scholarships. So if you're a DREAM Act application filer and you miss that March 2nd deadline, unfortunately, you will not get financial aid for the upcoming year.
Yeah, and the first time you submit an application, it takes about 30 minutes after the students have to reapply or renew our application. The first time you submit an application, it can take about 30 minutes to fill out the application. After that, students have to reapply or renew their application each year, and that takes a lot less time. Do we still have the same timeline for students renewing?
Correct. So you still are required between October to March 2nd
Mm.
to maximize your aid as a FAFSA filer and then 100% for the DREAM students.
What are some common mistakes students make on their FAFSA or DREAM applications that we can warn them to pay closer attention to?
So yeah, so these are application tips to avoid frequent errors. So first of all, you do the application for the wrong year. Okay. So for the 22-23, so if you're currently in student now, today's date is October in 2022. So basically you would be in fall 2022. So you have to have the 22-23 application done. That will give you aid for fall 2022, spring 2023, and then summer 2023. If you're an incoming student for fall 2023, you want to make sure that you do the correct application, which is 2023 and 2024 application, which will give you aid for fall 2023, spring 2024, and then summer 2024. When you log on to FAFSA or to the California DREAM Act application, it's going to give you both as an available because they don't know if you're getting aid for now or if you're trying to be proactive for the next year. So it's very important that you know which application you have to do. Another frequent error that we get is students don't list the same name across the board. What that means is they're not consistent with what their legal name is. So they might apply for, let's say, FAFSA using, like, let's say my example, David Jimenez. But what if I had two last names? What if my last name was David Jimenez Mendoza? Okay. So sometimes students apply for just their preferred name on one application, but and then for their admissions application, they do something else. So their names aren't going to match. So we will not be able to process their financial aid application. So you really need to be consistent on what you're using as your name. And then the last thing kind of ties in with the second one is that the legal name does not match. So let's say a student is Jennifer Mendoza. Jennifer might want to go by Jen, right? So whatever their legal name is has to be on their applications. Because remember, this is stuff that the government is trying to help you out with. So it needs to match and it needs to be able to know exactly what the student is. This is very common. So this will, it's a mistake that happens often. So it's something that you can easily avoid. But let's say you do run into this, we can fix it. It's just going to prolong us giving you financial aid.
When will students applying begin to hear about their financial aid packages at Cal Poly Pomona, and how does the Office of Financial Aid and Scholarship communicate with students?
Great question. So basically, this is what happens next. So October 1st, we know that we're being proactive. We're getting ready for the next upcoming year. So not only do we have students apply for their FAFSA or DREAM Act applications, but we open up what is called Scholarship Fest. So basically, this is where students can start applying for scholarships. It's open as soon as you have a Bronco ID number. You would do this as an incoming student for fall or a current student, and this will give you aid for the upcoming year. This is really neat because a lot of institutions don't offer scholarships until you actually start school. But at our institution, at Cal Poly Pomona, you can start applying for scholarships, even though you're not 100% sure that you're even going to come here. And you can start getting ready. So when you do come here, if you do decide to come here, you can basically have already, hopefully, some more secured funding waiting for you. After that, we know that the aid application priority deadline is March 2nd, like we talked about. In March, right when the document deadline ends, we start requesting for documents. So sometimes students need to turn in citizenship or parents' taxes or student taxes or marriage licenses, things like that, that the Department of Education or the California Student Aid Commission requires. We will start requesting these documents for students to clear any holds they have on their account. And this happens between March and June. Another thing that we start doing is we start notifying students of financial aid notification award letters. So basically, if you aren't required to turn in any documents, or if you already cleared your documents that we requested, we will let you know of those award notifications between the same days, March through June. And then as far as sending out notifications or document requests, it is very, very important that students start using their campus email regularly. So basically, it will be provided to you. So you need to make that as soon as you have it, start checking that email address. Financial aid at some point will stop sending you notifications to your Gmail, Yahoo, whatever your personal email address is. And the reason we do that is for security purposes. So, financial aid is stuff that is very sensitive. So we don't want, anything to go out there in the World Wide Web. So basically, we will send it to your campus email only. And then it's very important also to be checking your school portal, because we will basically have you pay attention to document deadlines or anything on your to-do list.
Yeah. Does the timeline differ for transfer applicants since most of them are renewing their FAFSA?
No. So basically, if you are a transfer student, we treat you the same as an incoming student. So you would still get the same time periods and the same deadlines. For us also about what's next that you can do, especially for transfer students. So some transfer students have California Student Aid Commission awards. This is like Cal Grant that they might have used at their community colleges or even other four-year universities. Like if they're transferring from another Cal State, another UC, or a private school, they might have used up some of their Cal Grant awards if they have Cal Grant awards. Also for incoming students, after you complete your initial FAFSA or DREAM Act application, you need to create a Web Grants account to know if you're going to qualify for any of the state funding if you're a California resident. And then this is the website where you would go. It's called mygrantinfo.csac.ca.gov. You also need to make sure that basically there's no pending items and you pick the correct school. So when you complete your FAFSA or your DREAM Act application, you can list up to 10 schools on there because you really don't know where you're going to end up, right? So you might have like a dream school, you might have like a preferred school, you might have, anything, or just a school for fun that you might not even want to go to, right? Because you can only really go to one school per year. So it is very important that if you're a California resident, that you make sure that your school of attendance is correct on there, or we will never get your financial aid as far as the state funding goes. This is an example of a student that has pending items on the left-hand box, which is orange. That's why it says pending and has a to-do list box. And then if you notice also, the second box says school of attendance and it has a different school of attendance. This is an example of a student that already fixed everything. So they are awarded, it's green, nothing's pending, and then they have the correct school code here at Cal Poly Pomona. So very, very important. That's one of the things too, as while you're waiting for your aid, you might have a notification from California Student Aid Commission that you might qualify for a Cal Grant. Just make sure that you created a Web Grants for Students account, and then you're monitoring this also to maximize your aid.
Yeah. So those are two examples, but how do most Broncos cover the cost of tuitions and fees at Cal Poly Pomona?
So great question. So most of our students qualify for grants and then loans. So even if you don't, unfortunately, you don't qualify for any of the grants, which is free money. Scholarships aren't guaranteed, as we know, but we encourage everybody to apply for scholarships because that is another type of free funding. Then we also offer student loans. So even if your family made $1 million last year, or in 2021 for our example, right, for an incoming student, every student as a FAFSA filer will get offered loans. And then for Dream Act application filers, if you completed an application by the March 2nd deadline, we also offer California Dream loans. So students would use a combination of both. If you're fortunate enough to have your fees covered all in the free money, well, great. You don't need to cover the, use loans. But if you need for you and your families to cover loans, we offer loans as well. If you still have a remaining balance, and this happens a lot, unfortunately, with the student housing, students that come in with student housing, most of the time, even if you maximize your grants, maximize your loans, you still might have a remaining balance. So our university offers 3 different things. You can pay out of pocket completely, which is the left box. You would just pay online. You can mail your payment, or you pay in person at the Student Accounting and Cashier Services, green counter. You can set up a payment plan. So we offer payment plans. You would set this up on your student portal, or we have alternative loans, which is the last box. So parents, if you're a FAFSA filer, you're dependent, your parents could apply for a Parent Plus loan, or you can apply for a private loan. So we have many options. Basically, you would just go in there and see which option is best for you and your family.
So if students have questions while filling out the application, where can they find help?
Great question. So we offer FAFSA and California Dream Act application workshops. Okay. We offer these. They're really great. This year, fortunately enough, we're back on campus. So we're not only going to offer in Zoom, in person or Zoom workshops, but also in-person workshops. To get to our workshop page, what you would do is just go to our financial aid website. You would click under resources, and then you would scroll down and you will see FAFSA/California Dream Act workshops. You are required to register, just so we know exactly how many staff members we need to provide excellent service to you guys. And then we offer, what's really neat about it too is that we understand that some parents want to be part of it, right? Because they need to provide their, not only their social security numbers sometimes, their date of birth, their names, their income, all this personal information. So they want to be part of the process, especially if you're a first generation student. This is all brand new to everybody. So we offer financial aid workshops online or in person after hours. So after our typical 8 to 5, in the evenings and on Saturdays. So you can sign up for a virtual or in-person workshop, whatever best meets your family's needs.
Each university has a school code. What is ours?
Our school code is really easy. It's 001144. A common error that we get is, as we know, now there's 2 other Cal Polys. It used to just be Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, but now Humboldt is a Cal Poly as well.
Yeah.
So Cal Poly, traditionally, it was just 2 Cal Polys, right? It was Cal Poly Pomona and then Cal Poly SLO, right? So our numbers are literally right next to each other. So SLO is 001143, and then ours is 001144. So just make sure that you're applying for the correct one on there. Just look at the city and state, because sometimes it would just say Cal Poly for both. Just look to where it's the city and state, and then you'll know that it'll say Pomona, California.
Yeah. Now we have 3 with Humboldt.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
so with the 3rd Cal Poly, they might put the number right next to ours. We don't know. But just it's very, very important just to avoid that. Our information is on our website, of course, or you can come in and we can help you, or sign up online and we can help you. But just look at the city and state, and then you'll know exactly where you're applying.
Do you have any tips for students during the application process?
Yeah, so basically get it done as soon as possible, right? Unfortunately, like I mentioned, especially for Dream Act application, if you don't get it in by March 2nd, you're not going to get any financial aid. And it really sucks if you're throwing away, especially free money.
Yeah.
For FAFSA filers, same thing. We offer, comparable to the community colleges offer like fee waivers, a lot of fee waivers, right? Like it used to be called the Board of Governors fee waiver. Now it's called like the California Dream Promise. The California Promise. Those are fee waivers that basically it waives their tuition fees. Well, we have one here called the State University Grant that it waives your tuition. We pay for your tuition charges. If you miss a March 2nd deadline, we cannot give it to you whatsoever. So just get it done. You'll forget. Trust me, things come up. A good time to do it is during, the holiday break. So get it in now if you can. We're still open during, even though you might not have school. I know it's like there's a big break between, fall and spring. It's like a whole month off of school. We're still open. We do close a few days, so check our calendar. But basically try to get it in as soon as possible to maximize your aid. Apply for scholarships, of course. Very, very important to do both, because you just never know what opportunities are out there and what you can miss out on.
And where can they contact the Office of Financial Aid if they have any questions?
Okay, yeah, great question. So we have a lot of methods to contact us. First of all, we're in person. So even though half of our staff is working remotely right now, half of it are at home, and we flip-flop, basically there's always someone there for financial aid to help you. Okay. We're open Monday through Friday at building 121, the blue counter, from 8 to 5. We also offer Billy Chatbot, which is really, really neat. Basically, you can log on to our website, ask Billy a question. If Billy will give you most of our answers, like the school code question that you asked, Billy will let you know what our school code is. Billy will let you know what the difference between loans are. So let's say you get an award package and you don't know the difference between the loans that are being offered to you. You can ask Billy. Billy will let you know the difference of loans, and Billy will let you know like videos, things like that, so you can educate yourself more, and especially for your families. If during office hours, Billy does not know the answer, we have live chat agents that you can log on with, and we can give you the answers through live chat and show you websites, show you links. If it's after hours, Billy will recommend that you email our office, and then it will provide an email address and then basically forward that email directly to us. so we could get you that answer as soon as possible. If you want to set up an appointment with a one-on-one counselor like myself or my coworkers, you would do that under CPP Connect. The CPP Connect won't be available if you haven't enrolled in classes yet, though. So if you're an incoming student, it will usually not allow you to log on to CPP Connect until after orientation, because that's usually when you enroll for student classes for the first time as a student. My favorite and the last one on here.
Sorry.
Bless you.
Sorry, I had to sneeze.
No, it's okay. My favorite one on here is joining a virtual queue in person or through Zoom. This is great. So basically, the Zoom one lets us have you share your screen. So especially if you're getting stuck. So let's say you're like in the middle of your FAFSA application, you're middle of your DREAM Act application, you're middle of your scholarship, and you don't really know what box to check or what the right number. The taxes are a little tricky, right? There's pages and pages and pages of taxes. So not everyone's an expert on them. We aren't either, but we could figure it out together. So basically, we can share screens with you. We will allow you to share screens with us, and we'll be like, hey, yeah, so the answer for this one, check right here, check right there, and we can get through the application together. So very, very important. Go in there, try to do it on your own. But if you need help, know that there's resources here on campus that can help you out.
Yeah. Thank you so much. That's it for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed getting the scoop on the Office of Financial Aid and Scholarship at Cal Poly Pomona. Make sure to check out our episode on scholarships. Subscribe to our channel to never miss a scoop and follow our Instagram at cpp.broncoscoop. If you have any questions or want me to talk about anything CPP related, email us at caminos@cpp.edu. Bronco Scoop is supported by Cal Poly Pomona's Office of Student Success, Equity, and Innovation, and with funding from the Department of Education Hispanic Serving Institute grant, Project Caminos. Tune in for more.